This is a program that's been in development for a while with a lot of professionals that have been external or internal, and it is essentially a program that has been developed to explore woodland habitats, the ecosystem in them, with a focus on both threatened and existing woodland bird diversity and species.
So we have our question, and that question is, does this environment support a diversity of woodland birds? The thing that we really want to get out for the students is that there are ways that scientists work. There are ways that science works. We want scientific thinking and working scientifically to be a big part of this program. Today's program came about due to a high school teacher asking for a Stage 5 science fieldwork day focused on ecosystems. I wasn't sure how to approach that at first, but on the way to work one morning, I heard that a couple of new woodland birds had been added to the threatened species list. Given that we live in a woodland environment, I thought we would focus on the woodland birds and the ecosystem that they live in and do some field work about what was here that supported bird life in the woodland. Sadly, it's one of the most endangered ecological communities in New South Wales. Woodlands happen where it's not too wet and not too dry, and as it turns out, that's the sort of the perfect conditions to grow wheat and sheep. So a lot of our woodlands have been cleared completely. A lot of the animals and plants that were once there are no longer there. The space that we actually use doesn't belong to Thalgari. We visit the neighbour's farm, and thankfully they've decided to leave their woodland fairly intact. And that includes standing dead trees, it includes the coarse woody debris on the ground. They get lots of requests to help tidy up the woodland by timber getters and firewood collectors, but thankfully they've always said no. So we've got lots of coarse woody debris, and that of course is one of the key elements to good habitat for a variety of woodland birds. We've got a range of trees in this woodland as well, and of course the bigger trees, the more likely it will be to have a hollow, and so many Australian animals rely on hollows. In one of the sessions that I ran as part of this program, we look at trees and we look at how to measure the DBH, or the diameter at breast height of a eucalyptus tree, and scientists have proven that those trees that have a diameter at breast height of over 40 are more likely to have a hollow. So it's great to plant a new tree, but that's going to take 80 years to get a hollow. The students assess that, they find that information out for themselves by measuring the DBH of a tree, checking for hollows, and they'll be writing that down in their book, and then later on as post-visit activities, we've got some database for them to add their data to that will help them get a good understanding of the relationship between DBH and hollows in trees. The other activity that I ran was about the ground cover in a woodland. So the ground cover provides so much for woodland birds, whether that be nesting material or food sources or sheltering materials and things like that.
So the diameter at breast height and the point step assessment is done in a 20 by 50 quadrant. However, the invertebrate presence and diversity, as well as the coarse woody debris volume, is measured in a hectare divided into 10 quadrats. So it's a quadrat hectare, that is a slice of the woodland, to give a better impression of what the entire woodland would be.
For this program to be effective, a bird survey makes perfect sense, and a bird survey is another technique that students should know about. For our bird survey, nobody on Thalgara staff knows birds well enough to be able to identify a bird from a tweet high up in the tree. So thankfully, local ecologist Dr. Steve Davis comes on board for that, and he realised there was a large variety of birds today. Even though we didn't get to see all of those birds, Steve heard them, and therefore they were recorded.
Hopefully students gathered a better appreciation about what woodland ecosystems are and the interactions that all living and non-living things have within them. Hopefully they had more of appreciation as well about bird diversity, the current threats that are harming them in our environments and reducing their numbers. and also how to work as scientists in the field by using reliable and accurate methods that create reliable and accurate data.